Hi ladies, hope you're doing well today. Happy, Tuesday? Yes, happy Tuesday. So I'm really excited about this live today because in this live I'm going to talk about the 3 steps that we have to take in order to find real love after a toxic relationship. And I'm going to go into what I call my magic formula that I've created by going through this process myself, and it's what's been working for the women that I work with to find real love and to break that toxic relationship cycle. So stay tuned, and I want to say, if you're watching this video and you're like, hell no, like dating and real love is like the last thing that I want right now because you're just out of a toxic relationship or you're still really in the thick of that recovery process, this video is still for you. If you haven't given up on finding love someday, watch this video because these are the steps that you can take to get you to the point where you feel ready. These are steps you can take today to move you into that direction when you are ready, okay? So yes, this video is for you even if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even think about dating right now. All right, guys, so let me know if you're watching live. Give me like a hashtag live in the comments. And if you're watching this on the replay, I like to know that too. It just, it's good to know who's watching when. And if you're watching live, I always love the hearts and the likes. Gives me some energy for this live, so send them over. And if you have questions while we're watching, you can shoot those over too. Okay, so by the end of this live, it'll be about 15 minutes. You guys will know all the steps to take to recover from a toxic relationship and to get to the point where you can find that real love. And I say real love because it's a healthy love. So this is basically, these are the steps to create a healthy relationship. Thanks for the loves and the hearts. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so the first step that I recommend taking is what I call deprogramming. So when you're ready to get back out there and date, or even before, when you're just starting to think about the idea of a new relationship, it may be difficult to do because you've been carrying around some unconscious beliefs. Thanks, Jessica, hi, from the relationship, the bad one, the toxic one, the abusive one, right? And these may be things that your partner told you or things that you came to believe about yourself. You know, like, I'm not good enough. Or maybe your partner told you that no one will love you like I will love you. Maybe they told you things like, oh, you're lazy, you're ugly, whatever they told you. These are things that are usually, for the most part, not objectively true, right? And we may not even know that we have these beliefs that we're carrying around, but it takes a process of seeing through those, you know, understanding that these things are not true, that I came to believe about myself or that my partner told me, right? But they're things that can be holding you back from creating a healthy relationship, and they actually could be causing you to literally like not see the healthy partners out there, okay? So deprogramming is exactly that. It's unwinding all of that junk in your head, all that bullshit that you're carrying around from your previous relationship, the abusive relationship, you know, and it gets you to a place where you have your confidence back, right? So there's a reason I call this deprogramming. I consider a toxic and abusive relationship like being in a cult, okay? There's brainwashing going on, there's manipulation, there's big promises of this magnificent love and happiness and joy. And then there's devaluation usually. Those promises are not fulfilled. So it's very similar to being in a cult where the leader is your ex, okay? So when you come out of a cult, there's a process called deprogramming. They send you to a specialist that helps you unwind all these thoughts, unwind the things that you believed about yourself. They help you break through that like mental fog from the relationship. So it's absolutely necessary to go through this process. So yeah, that's why I call it deprogramming, because to me, it is literally like being in a cult. Like it's no joke. So is this making sense to you guys? Hi Whitney, thanks for your comment. Yeah, let me know if this is making sense, or if you have a question so far, if you're following me. All right, so thank you for the heart, Stephanie. I'm gonna keep it moving here. So the next step that we have to go through is the emotional healing process, right? Because you may have noticed, if you have tried to go back out there and date, like I'll share a little bit about my story. I got out of a divorce. I was married for almost 9 years, and I unfortunately went back out there almost immediately, and it did not go well because I was still carrying around a lot of stuff from my marriage. I didn't take the time to heal and release a lot of that stuff. I didn't take the time to do my emotional healing. And guess what happened? I ended up in an extremely abusive relationship. Okay? So I don't want this to happen to you guys. So the emotional healing process is what we need to go through. So yeah, if you end up going back out there dating, you might have realized that all this stuff that you're carrying around, whether it's, fear, guilt, shame, sadness, grief, a lot of this stuff, it makes it difficult to date. Because again, just like the beliefs that you may be carrying around, these emotional energies can actually literally cause you to not see the healthy partners that are out there. So let me explain. Our brains are conditioned basically to be drawn to what's familiar. So if what's familiar to us has been bad relationships, toxic relationships, abusive relationships, and we haven't done this emotional healing process, we're unconsciously going to be drawn straight back into these bad relationships. Okay? And that's what happened to me. And that's why these steps are so important to take, because if we don't do them, it's highly likely we're going to end up in another toxic relationship. And we may be trying our best not to, but it just happens, right? Like nobody goes into dating saying, "Oh yeah, sure, I want a bad relationship." No. But if we don't take the steps to do the emotional healing, it happens, right? And let me know if you've experienced this. If you guys have tried to date after a toxic relationship and it hasn't gone well, shoot me a comment. Whitney says, yeah, I've been doing a lot of research on myself. It definitely makes sense. Yes. Thank you, Whitney. Yeah. So we need to deal with this emotional baggage before we can get out there and shift our relationships, before we can find the real love. So the secret weapon that I use is an energy healing method. Super powerful. It's called the emotion code. I'm going to be sharing a lot more about this coming up. I get so excited when I talk about the emotion code. I just can't say enough good things about it. It was a big breakthrough for me years ago and after my very bad relationships. And yeah, it's been a huge breakthrough for the women that I work with too. So yeah, really any method that you can use to help you to release these energies, to help you work through them. And by releasing, I don't mean just shoving them down, suppressing them. No, by releasing, I mean feeling them, letting them move through you, so you come out of this process feeling lighter, feeling more whole, feeling more confident, and most importantly, like you deserve to be treated well, and you deserve real love. Okay? So, what I wanted to tell you is usually if you really do this process, if you dive deep into your emotional healing process, you can come out of this process feeling like a completely different person. And I know that's how it was for me, and very often people tell me that, like by the end of the time they have been working with me, they feel like completely different people. okay? And we want that because what got us into a toxic relationship, all that stuff, we have to release that. We have to move through that. We have to get to the point where we fully believe that we can have real love, real healthy love. Okay, anyone have any questions at this point? Shoot them over. Give me a heart or a like if this energy healing stuff intrigues you. I'm curious. Yeah, I get so excited talking about it. Anyway, so the next step, the third step that we need to take to find real love after a toxic relationship is we have to learn how to date and how to create a healthy relationship. So again, this ties into all the things that I've talked about, but like I said earlier, our brain is literally conditioned to go towards what's familiar. So again, if what's familiar to you is toxic relationships, is not being treated well, is having to earn your love, feeling like you're not good enough, that's unconsciously what you're going to be drawn to. And so, like, I can share for myself, I was just dating based on my emotions, and my intuition, I should say. I thought that I had great intuition, right? I thought that my intuition was spot on. It was going to lead me to the right people, and I was just going to know it. It was just going to feel right. Okay? So I had these situations where I would be drawn to people and it felt right to be with them. But it was totally wrong. These people were like the worst for me. But that's what happens when we have been conditioned to bad relationships. If we've been in them for a while, it's what we're unconsciously drawn to because the brain's like, oh, okay, I know this. This is familiar. It's part of the survival instinct for the brain. If it hasn't killed me yet, it's fine, right? But this is not how we want to go into our relationships. So for me, I had to learn how to date all over again, kind of from scratch, really. I had to learn how to date differently. I had to learn how to think about chemistry, attraction, those feelings of right, somebody being right for me. I had to learn how to think about all of that differently in order to get into a real loving relationship, a healthy relationship. We also have to learn all the red flags, right? And how to spot someone who's emotionally unavailable. That's kind of tricky. That's a higher level skill there. It's not always obvious. So these are the skills that we need to cultivate. And I wish there was some sort of course that we could have learned in school, like how to avoid toxic relationships, how to have a healthy relationship. But for most of us, there weren't. These were things that we have to learn as we become adults. And unfortunately, some of us have to learn it the hard way. But that is not what I want for you all. I want you guys to learn these skills now so you don't have to waste any more of your precious time in these bad relationships. And then we also have to learn how to have clear, solid boundaries. This is a huge part of the learning how to date and how to have healthy relationships. I actually did a live, a couple weeks ago. If you want that live, if you want me to send you that link over, type boundaries in the comments and I'll send you the link to that live. But yeah, so having clear boundaries is one of the most important skills that we need to learn that will help us to avoid these toxic relationships in the future. Without boundaries, it's highly likely that you will end up in a bad relationship again. So boundaries is huge. So these are the 3 steps, the magic formula that we have to take to avoid a toxic relationship and to find real love. So it basically takes you through a whole transformation process. Like this is, if you go through all these steps, you will be a new person at the end of this. You will be able to navigate the dating world and you can find real love. So yeah, like I said in the beginning, I know a lot of you may think like, this video is not for me. I'm not ready. Some of you may have even given up on finding love because your relationship was so difficult. And I understand that feeling. Absolutely. I have been there. I get it. But I want to tell you that objectively, it is possible for you to find real love. You just have to know the right steps to take. That's it. You know, there are good partners out there. They're not all narcissistic. I know a lot of us, when we've been in a narcissistic relationship, can feel like, oh my gosh, everyone is like that. No. That's how it feels in the moment, absolutely. But once you work through some of that stuff and you do that emotional healing, you will see that that is not the case. All right, guys, so did this make sense? Any questions here about what I covered today? I see you, Jessica. I will send you the boundary video. So yeah, any questions before I wrap up here? All right, so if what I talked about today really spoke to you and you want to hear more about my program, comment real love in the comments and I'll reach out to you, because real love, that's what this is all about. It is absolutely possible for all of us, and that is what I want for you. You know, that is my mission here. I created this group because I wanted to give women hope that there is real love after a toxic relationship. It's absolutely possible. You know, I would go into these groups. You know, if you guys are in this group, this is a Facebook group. I would go into a lot of these groups and they're just filled with people who have really lost hope of finding a healthy relationship. And I get it, I understand it, but this group is different. This group, the hope is here. It's absolutely possible. Is there hard work involved? Yes. Is there getting out of your comfort zone involved? Yes, absolutely. But it's 100% possible. So yeah, comment real love. If you guys are interested in my program, I will reach out to you. And thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy that all of you are here, and let's get this new year going. All right, guys, talk to you soon.